Yeah, those are the scenes in Kadekachindu Stadium. There has been a sort of incident of indiscipline where the fans have sort of taken the game to their own hands and started throwing stones. But what we can say is it's not the first time it has happened at the Kachindu Stadium. When URA came and played Busoga United, the fans were also disappointed. They came onto the field and started talking to the players. It's very disappointing to see this outcome.
Definitely, hooliganism is not allowed on the pitch, but seeing such scenes, you can just fathom to see what is going to happen next for Busoga, because they were starting to build up something after some good win from Luparaka, away at Bombo, and then you expected them to perform well this evening, which they did on the pitch. But actually, the fans, as we've talked about it, they are taking the laws by their hands. It's uncalled for. May the measures cut them, because it's such a pity to see such scenes in this modern era of football. Something must be done to stop such incidences happening again. For now, Express may be on their advantage because they are already leading by that time of the happening of the incident. So right now, we need just to focus on what's going to happen next off the pitch, because it's game in this moment.
Yeah, it's Alan Kaiwa's goal, a brilliant free kick, and then the fans, the Busoga fans, just decided to storm out of the field, disappointed. They didn't have a bad game. They managed to keep their defense intact, only that the Alan Kaiwa's free kick was the difference. What is happening today for Busoga and the fans as well?
Remember what I said in the pre-match analysis, that these fans
I'm going to have to cut you there. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
The fans get agitated every time they get excited to support a team, and sometimes it's a poisoned chalice. The more you get fans, the more actually you get crooks amongst them, and it's been a legend for many clubs. Express themselves have that history. Sports Club Villa has that history. Of course, Busoga has the history right now. Luparaka have that, and sometimes they have a sense of entitlement, trying to change the hierarchy of football. The hierarchy of football starts with players and ends with fans. But in between there is so much stakeholding, including referees, and football rules don't allow you to judge. It is the rules that decide. Now the fans try to judge everything because they are the ones that consume the product, and it seems they want the product to look a certain way. Well, there could be challenges. We all see that everywhere in football, but humanity is, when you enter a vocation, you need to abide by the rules and take things the same way we expect them or they are expected. At a certain moment, everyone in football has had that moment of agitation, but we seem not to learn. That sense of entitlement is a human aspect, and you are going to see so many people waxing lyrical on social media and all that, and you just look at them, look at the comments and analyze what kind of person that one is. Some people will complain that a certain section is fighting them, but I don't know how you can explain that if you are a fan of a team and the option you have is throwing a stone.
That shouldn't even be an option on the pitch.
That could mean 2 points deducted, 2 goals deducted, probably stadium ban.
Stadium ban,
and
yes.
You having to play away from the region your team is best. And all those costs you're going to meet. And then you're going to keep complaining. And we are in an era where football is a juggernaut. It has to move. At the end of the day, some wheels are going to fall off, and it will remain moving. And some people are self-damaging their brands.
I'm out of words, because football cannot reach to this state. I mean, yes, you might be disappointed with the result. Last time we saw the Villa fans taking it to their own hands and showing some form of hooliganism, hurting one of the
explanation
giants.
People give is, how do you justify that it is a Busoga United fan or a Villa fan? But it's a human being. You know, we've seen situations where violence has resulted into death and permanent damage of people.
Yeah.
How do you justify? Do you need to justify damage
it's
in
hard.
violence?
It's hard.
And that is an explanation people are going to give. They always give that.
I am out of words. What is your take on this? Because we were enjoying the game. There were still 4 minutes left. And okay, if Busoga United say we still have 4 minutes to play, the game could change. But,
Definitely.
And the fans leaving, as soon as the goal entered, the fans left. Some of them were pointing at the players saying, "No, we have refused. We cannot allow this to continue." And they just stormed out.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the fans leaving would have been a good thing, because I was in a way. If they're leaving, they are feeling that loss against their team, the pain that they are facing. It's okay for a fan to leave the pitch peacefully, leave the stadium peacefully. But that kind of action, something needs to be done. Maybe safety measures can be taken, even safety courses to the fans in Busoga, to the administrations, also to the players, to know where they stand in all this mess. But this mess is going to cause a lot of mayhem right now in the papers and in the other football teams, plus the fans of other teams, because something like this explodes to other teams. You saw Villa do it a couple of days ago, and right now it's Busoga doing it. Maybe we can see another team doing it because they may feel agitated by this, but it's the wrong thing to do. As a fan, you must just support your team, ensure that you get them over the line, which the Busoga fans were doing, but the pain of conceding, maybe they feel that the referee was not justifiable in giving out such a free kick in such a time. And it was a right call from the referee. You can feel sorry for him to be in that incident, but he had to make that call. But right now, where is the go ahead for them? Because as the players for Busoga, they're asking themselves, what next? Yes, we are fighting on the pitch, but we don't know what next. As Tendo has spoken about it, a 2 points deduction will be taking Busoga a long way back. As you're fighting to get out of relegation positions, right now you're going to face a tougher sanction to cut you off some points, and then move away from your non-stadium. You miss the fans. It's going to be a disadvantage to everyone involved in this mess.
And because of that mess, this mess that is coming up, this hooliganism, you might say, okay, let us educate some people, have some meetings, but this education doesn't reach some fans, and
you see that
there's still a problem.
The challenge with life is copy and paste of behaviors and morals. You see in England what happened after the Euros. We've seen ultras in Spain and Italy being violent and all that, throwing things. We've seen acts of racism and all that. There is always that bad syndrome in every society, and the bad syndrome for us is violence and resistance and chaos. Which even if you start training people, it is a mindset that cannot easily change. For instance, if someone comes out and starts training people, they become the role models. After training people and you go back on your page and start writing the same thing that people would do physically, you are still not a good role model. So there is that negativity that we portray as public figures that is not easy to actually inspire other people to follow a certain trend. And in the heat of the moment when a fan is agitated, it's not easy to calm them down. We've seen situations, actually, it's not even good to discuss this. I'm trying to think about the best way to avoid a discussion like this. Probably it could be a good topic for Tutegero Mpira, but still the more you try to even discuss that, you are giving those people a lot of credit. And I think it's high time the sports bill and act work, and people are gotten apprehended as individuals, handed out by society, because clubs should get stewards, club officials should get the funds registered so that they would know it's Bule who did this. In England they have that, but you can get a stadium ban of a fan.
And the question
of an individual fan.
The question is identifying that specific.
It is so easy because people enter. There is a way they have to enter in a stadium. If you have them registered, then you would know. There is a section. If this is a section for Busoga fans, this is a section for Express fans. You know where the projectiles come from, and in that stadium there should be stewards, and stewards will identify. We are in an era of cameras and all that. don't tell me that those fans leaders don't know them. They know them, and they even embrace them. We grew up in Nachivubo, and you could see people holding stones and bottles, and we knew them. Even up to now, we know them. Some of them are even figures that you look at and you're like, oh my God, you know. And sometimes it's a joke. It comes like a joke. I've actually ever shared that joke. You know, you know, and it's a joke until you suffer that consequence. We have wounds and scars of those things, situations. I've seen so many people now, like the doctor of Wakiso Giants. You think he's going to forget that forever?
No.
I have a friend of mine is now even a soldier. He was hurt when we were still in senior 3 at Lubiri SS, attending a game between KCC and Sports Club Villa. He still has that scar. He's now a major, and you look at him and you're like, if you ever see a violent fan, what would you do? Is like, I don't know where I would take him, because I always remember that projectile that hit me. And you see, this is something that is not easy to get away, but the sanctions have to stand, and eventually football will have to move on, because it's the game, it's the industry. It has its shortcomings, but a modified system has to work on it. And talking about the fans and everything, even the referees committee should be more strict. We see mistakes in England, we see mistakes in other leagues. The punishments have to be straight and apportionate. We've seen mistakes in CAF games. Uganda fans had that issue of Badara Diata, if you remember that.
Yes.
Then Diata got suspended for some time, but at the end of the day, he's a good referee. So when they analyze, they know whether it was a mistake or anything. And in football, especially for referees, there are so many situations. A referee can have a bad day, can fail to notice, like that foul where a Busoga player got hit, Logono. I think the referee did not see it. Then he eventually got alerted because of the action, and saw instead a foul on an Express player. So a Busoga fan would think this is a 50-50 challenge that he let Express take the day. But again, if the referee now failed to notice even the other one, then you cannot have two bad mistakes happening at the same time. But again, there are those that people think are compromised. There are referees we know that handle games, and they are maybe unlucky. Even when there is no incident, the game doesn't end very well. It's a normal trade in life, you know. Some people are not good drivers. When they drive, there has to be an accident. So some referees are substandard on a day, and then others are really bad on a day.
We were seeing some officials after the match had just been paused. They were discussing, and someone was saying, "Why did the referee stop this game? Why can't they do this? Why can't they?" I mean,
when projectiles are flying over.
The safety is always,
exactly. You cannot blame the referee for stopping that. The referee has to stop that game because something is going on. You can see people are still seated.
And the Express fans are still in joyous mood, never moving an inch. For them, they are celebrating
because
maybe
they are untouchable.
On their side,
you touch an Express fan
for them. But for Busoga fans, they are still in a somber mood, but they lost their fracas there. Why should you start something like that? I see meetings after meetings.
The question is, Gordon, is there enough security there? When you look at that picture and you are a fan, do you see enough security? Because yes, there might be stewards on the pitch, but those stewards, are they qualified enough to be in that instant, in that situation, to handle something like that coming out?
I've seen stewards only. I've seen a full pitch of stewards.
You can see the policemen
only on the FUFA drum games, where you see a couple of 20 almost stewards surrounding that pitch, and also ensuring that there's safety around the pitch. But on this game, you've just seen them after that fracas. Maybe a lot has to be done by each club where they host their games from. It will be a good sign that at least we are improving towards making sure that we get the safety that we need for players, for other fans who cannot even be involved in such mess. And the referees are being escorted out of the pitch. You would imagine what is happening away from the stadium. Maybe the fans are just surrounding the stadium, just waiting for such moments to make some trouble. But we pray that it doesn't come to that sense. Right now, it's a bad picture for Ugandan football. As you are building a brand where we build stars, this is something that you can uncall for. Right now, Busoga United needs to do something about it.
Yeah.
Plus, the federation that takes Uganda football.
Yeah, let's hope that the referees and even the players who are still on the pitch, let's hope that they get out safely and no one is actually injured.
I don't think this one is targeting the players. It could be targeting the referees. It's not even targeting express players, by the way. But some elements of the fans there, some of them even target the team owner. There is a lot background agitation with the Busoga administration, and you sense that there is some challenge there in accepting the administration and in the way things are running and all that. You saw what happened when Coach Chiwa was roughed up. Now you can pity retired soldier Vincent Richams in charge of that Busoga team. You don't know what you can even do about it, and it's the name of the game. The challenge is still ongoing, and you don't know what can actually be done apart from just deducting points and sanctioning clubs. The stewards Bule talked about at the perimeter.
Yes.
The perimeter is safe already. Nobody can enter and have access in an organized game with a match coordinator. It's even journalists that are accredited, only camera people and all that. But a projectile comes from within the fans. So the stewards, some of them should be within the fans. And there should be cameras also trying to detect who exactly is doing this, and they can be apprehended afterwards. But all that is a mid-term or long-term situation. The short-term thing is just to handle the clubs individually and look at the alignment between the clubs and the federation, because there is a very bad notion that clubs are separate from the federation. I don't know where people get that. It could be the fans that are outside the federation, but clubs are so much within the federation, because the UPL clubs actually form the first 16 delegates.
Yes.
And how can someone even think that the federation is fighting a club?
You heard some of the officials saying, but what are they doing? They're not doing anything.
There is something wrong with understanding the format of association football with people. And people think it's still leisure, the home thing where you go out, you start a team and you just play and people just come and join you. It's really bad and painful to even read comments and write-ups by people you would want to respect. And they utter something of that note. Sometimes you even don't want to discuss that, and you concentrate on the game and look at the people the way they are. So the beauty of this goal has all been overshadowed. I would want to write Kaiwa and try to sell the product.
But will you be writing that?
That is what I'll have to do, because I leave that to other people. I even try to avoid the incident of Ashraf Mandela, because even in England they don't show it so much. You get it? Because such an incident is very painful, but when you promote it, you are killing so many things. You remember what happened to Christian Eriksen. If it was blown so much out of proportion, probably would not even be playing now. But they put that aside, and he's moving on a different rollout. So football is positivity, and here at FUFA TV, I think we leave the negative to the other stations. We want positive, exclusive action. The good thing, the action has been seen. All that can be left to the negative people, and we shall let the judicial bodies handle that.
Godwin, you as a player, after that incident, what is your thinking as a former player? If you've probably been in that situation where there's been some incident, what would you think about mentally going into the next game? How would you recover from that as a Busoga player or even an Express player?
Of course, it's not easy for both camps, because how you deal with that situation matters a lot, and building up to the next game. What are you going to do as Busoga if you're going to play our next game away, or maybe at home? You'll be missing the fans if those sanctions, as mentioned about before in the FUFA amendments or instinct, you need to do something about that as Busoga, to ensure that you get on a good trend. For the fans, just sensitizing them and ensure that it doesn't happen again, because at the end of the day, they'll need those fans. If they don't have the funds as Busoga, they will lack that push that may take them all the way.
Yeah.
Yes, there are struggles with the director there, Nyago, but something must be done. But as a player, just set up your mind. Whatever comes your way, and the next game, maybe you go back, train. If you're not going to train for a couple of days as Busoga, which I may suspect might even happen after this incident.
Yeah.
Because you never know what the director of the team or the patron of the team can say about that. Maybe she can tell the players, have some rest, but we will be available for the next game.
Yeah.
As a player, you need to just stick your head to your plan.
Yeah.
Maybe get ready for the next upcoming games. But being in that incident is such a tormenting time.
Yeah.
You never know what is going to come, as you saw Alan Kaiwa there in the middle of the pitch, and also Isalumu asking himself, where is all this trouble coming from? Yet we are enjoying the beautiful game. We are just playing the last few minutes of the game to ensure that we get it over with and we go back to Kampala. But then all of the heads are disturbed right now. What are we going up next? And you saw them in the middle of the pitch, but the last picture that we saw on screen. So they need to just focus as both teams, Express and Busoga, to ensure that if the next fixtures are coming by, they'll be ready for those fixtures.
Yeah, well, that is it. What we can say from FUFA and FUFA TV is that we say no to hooliganism. This is the show that builds stars. We cannot build stars when a lot is going on off the pitch. Hooliganism, negativity, that is something that we are all against, and the game has to continue. Busoga United were on the verge of losing a game against Express, but we shall be getting updates on whether what will come up after this game. Remember, this is FUFA TV. We are live on channel 239 and 252. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is FUFA TV, and on Twitter, give us a like and make sure you retweet with us. This has been Imran Pata, Godwin Bule and Tendo Nikta Musoke from us. It's good evening and see you next time.